Collision Course Teen Addiction Epidemic is made possible by Sierra Health Foundation, supporting efforts that promote the healthy development of youth. Additional funding for this program made possible by Kaiser Permanente and UC Davis.
Embedded in families of rich and poor alike, a new form of drug addiction is killing our kids.
I do not live in poverty.
Prescription pills, over-the-counter cough medicines, and other newer concoctions have young people cascading out of control and plunging into a pool of untold darkness. 20-year-old Kelsey stays with her parents in El Dorado Hills. Yet, from the affluent Northern California suburb, this attractive young woman comfortably slides into a drug-infested den in the heart of a rundown Sacramento neighborhood.
I'm going to be using my drug of choice, my pain reliever. Heroin. Actually, I started with pills, and I was using Oxy, and I did that for about 4 years. I've struggled with a lot of depression throughout the years. It's like a quick fix and I'm out from the world. You don't have to feel that emotional pain. After you start doing it, your body depends on it, and not only your body, but mentally. I promised myself, I would never do heroin, but you just start hanging around the wrong crowd or whatever, and you just meet people, and it happens.
On the streets, Kelsey hooked up with Casey, a veteran who joined the military at 21. Injured in combat, he's now addicted to pain pills that he grinds up and injects.
Bad thing of it is I have a 11-year-old son that I take care of. I used to be somebody, I used to be a good father.
Casey says his mom was an addict, and he was doing drugs at a young age. He started by huffing gas.
One of the most severe indicators of later pathology and drug addiction is the use of inhalants at an early age by children.
The kids are a step ahead of the toxicologists. Who would have ever thought that you would spray room freshener up your nose to try to get a high?
Lindsay and her mom are rebuilding their relationship. Drugs, including inhalants, led the family down a rocky road of despair, beginning when Lindsay was 13 years old. She's now 20.
I tried drinking a couple times, and then I actually was huffing hairspray for a little bit. I started using Adderall at the beginning of my sophomore year of high school. From the first time that I took it, I was completely just hooked.
Adderall is a prescription medication used for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD.
I feel like it's very overprescribed, and the kids that don't want to take it are usually the kids that really need it because it makes them really calm. And then for people like me who don't have ADHD, it gives us a ton of energy and helps us focus.
Adderall's an amphetamine that, if abused, can become highly habit-forming.
I felt as though it made me everything I'd ever wanted to be. I could, study. I, didn't want to eat, and I was losing weight, gave me all this energy. I got it from a friend who actually was prescribed it, and I would buy it from her. I was using it every day. My tolerance was so high that I was taking 9 times the, normal prescribed amount. Eventually, it wasn't enough. I needed more, and so I moved on to cocaine and ecstasy.
Too many drugs, and Lindsay crashed.
Something just snapped, and this moment of clarity just happened, and I was like, I have a problem. I came to that point because after I took the pills, I still didn't feel okay. I had nothing.
Lindsay shuffled in and out of recovery.
My mom, my dad, no. No way. They were like the enemy. They were like the ones preventing me from doing what I wanted to do.
Finally, sobriety clicked, and Lindsay works hard to stay drug-free.
Today, it's like every day. I'm just grateful that I have the parents that I have. It's incredible, the relationship I get to have with them today.
Psychologist Dr. Ernest Jarman says people need to recognize that addiction among young people is an epidemic.
What you try to do is you try to make people aware that there are problems, aware that there is help, and you start at that level: awareness, willingness, the courage to do something.
Christina never got that message. To support her habit, she sells her body in this filthy garage called a trick pad. The guy who owns this place?
He rents it out to turn dates, to get money for drugs.
This so-called trick pad borders an established neighborhood that boasts some million-dollar homes.
Addiction is a problem that knows no cultural or socioeconomic boundaries.
Christina started using drugs in elementary school. 20 years later, she's aged far beyond her years.
All my life, all I've ever known is using drugs. I remember when I was like in 6th grade, I stole my mom's bottle of Valium, took those to school and got everybody high.
From prescription pills, Christina turned to heroin.
That's it.
Hurley Miracle is with the nonprofit agency Oak Park Outreach. He's trying to help Christina.
It starts out as fun, as it always has, a recreational drug, but now it's serious with a lot of these youngsters, and they end up injecting drugs.
90% of adults who struggle with addiction first used before the age of 18. Kids from higher-end neighborhoods usually don't have to look far for drugs. But when their supply dries up, they're venturing into known areas where dealers hang out. Hurley sees it every day.
They come from all zip codes. They come from Davis. They come from Marysville. You ask for Sandra for the detox.
Okay.
Think Christina can't be you or your child? This was never the life Christina wanted either. And without help, her future is bleak.
Lost.
24-year-old Brian also struggles with addiction. He stole beer from his parents when he was 10 and started drinking. Later, he was prescribed pain pills for a bad burn.
You start out using and you don't think you're addicted. And before you even know it, you are addicted.
Teens are getting drugs from friends, medicine cabinets, and their parents' nightstands.
The dealers are your next door neighbor's kids. I mean, these dealers are the same age as the kids. These aren't, when we're talking about Rockland, Granite Bay, but also there are other connections in, let's say, Oak Park.
Locking up medication helps, but if kids want drugs, they find them. Brian did.
Started smoking Oxycontins off of tinfoil.
During this interview at his parents' Yolo County home in rural Winters, he was clean.
The next time I use it could kill me.
Right after Brian left the interview, he was using again.
Ended up going back out, met a girl, and started using with her methamphetamines, and eventually led to me shooting dope. And then that was a run for about 8 months.
Homeless, Brian was living under a bridge. His mom, Jan Morkel, was devastated.
I can remember really vividly one time, I live in the country, and I can absolutely see myself on the road and saying to God, I was willing to let God take me if he would just let Brian get well.
It was hard on me. Growing up as a kid, I can remember coming home from elementary school in 4th grade, peeking around a bush, and if I saw a beer can on the counter, I wouldn't go in. There's no way in hell. I'd go over to a next door neighbor's house and start drinking it. Go down to the elementary school and vandalize.
We know that substance abuse runs strongly in families.
Although my mom and dad are not alcoholics or weren't alcoholics, I did get the disease of alcoholism.
I don't think it's any more under someone's control than skin cancer or breast cancer or an infectious disease. Sure, there's some role that maybe you had initially, but once you begin to get the actual manifestations of the disease, you can't stop it without a significant amount of help.
When Brian was 12, his mom got sober. 9 years later, she was drinking again while her son was spinning out of control.
I had an intervention. We've actually had a couple of them. And it was all done by the same person. And Ricky really got to know Brian and know my family.
As with Brian, what we did was we went through the peaks and the valleys with him. We went through the relapses. We went through the camping on a riverbank where mom is crying and concerned for her child deeply. The easiest thing for Jan would have been to bring her child home and take care of him. But she knew that at this point he needed to start seeing his own consequences for the choices that he'd been making.
At first, that intervention, the one that got recovery from it and was me.
Jan stopped drinking and Brian hit bottom.
I wasn't having fun and I just wanted to die, and I needed to change my life.
Brian knocked on the door of his grandmother's house in the town of Lincoln.
On my birthday, December 7th, I ended up flushing 28 grams of methamphetamines down the toilet and going to see my grandma for my birthday.
I was not happy. My mom is 86 years old, and Brian hurts people when he's using.
Grandma got manipulated into letting him in.
Interventionist Ricky Townsend returned for another meeting with the family.
I sat with Brian alone, and it came to fruition that it was healthiest for everyone that he spend one more night with Grandma and then find some other alternative place to stay.
Brian went into a recovery house and has been clean since. His sobriety will be a lifelong commitment.
Many times it's looking at what is it that's driving these kids to try this. And sometimes it's as simple as really a profound depression that's not recognized by anybody. And this kid is just so unhappy, he's trying whatever he can to relieve the suffering that he's feeling inside.
Drug use is sometimes a form of self-medication. Brian turned to meth, a deceptive drug that gets you hooked fast. 1 in 3 teens sees no risk in giving it a try. Kids are not being scared off.
They're starting at pot and alcohol, let's say 12, 13. So by the time they get into high school, right now anyway, now you've got the pill parties.
They're called farm parties.
You throw your pills in a container and sit around and grab one of their parents' pills, and they don't know what they're grabbing.
Substance abuse, and that includes alcohol, is America's #1 public health problem. Prescription pills are the drug of choice for 12 and 13-year-olds. Every day, about 2,500 teenagers abuse a pain reliever for the first time.
The other thing that we're having epidemic proportions in the parties is binge drinking. It's been known that the kids are dying from this.
That in many ways parents look the other way. They don't know how to deal with these problems. They don't want to confront it head on. It causes them great angst. Maybe it brings up personal issues either for them or for their dealing with their family members, their parents and siblings.
At some point, right? I mean, if you're using drugs long enough.
Raven Hoops, a recovering drug user, has her finger on the pulse of this growing epidemic.
At Harm Reduction Services, we've got a huge increase in young, specifically Caucasian, middle to upper class, suburban and rural young people coming in for services.
How's it going?
Harm Reduction Services is a nonprofit located in Oak Park, an inner-city Sacramento neighborhood.
We've seen anywhere from about a 20 to 30% increase in those young people just in probably the last 6 to 9 months. If you can educate your young person to know what to look for, know what the drugs look like, know what the effects are, and really truly understand some of the long-term pieces to it, then you're starting the conversation to save their life.
Teenagers want to party. 19-year-old Kirill is no exception, but that doesn't mean he drinks or uses drugs.
I still socialize with them, just try not to, get caught up in whatever they're doing.
Alcohol issues at home put things into perspective for Kirill early on.
Mostly it was self-education and what I learned in school about drugs and alcohol and just the environment that I grew up around. People use it to get away, just to, I don't know, at the end of the bottle, there's still problems, what I've heard in rap songs.
Kirill and 16-year-old Rudy both love rap music. They also know that rap and a dangerous new drug cocktail called lean often go together. Rudy, who lives in Stockton, got swept away.
Yes, I have had personal experience with using it.
Lean starts out with hard candies tossed into a glass or pitcher. They're covered with codeine cough syrup, soda, alcohol, and sometimes crushed up pills. The hard candy is
kind of like ice, you just drink and then suck on it for a little bit and throw it back in the cup.
Lean is very addictive.
Numbness of the body, certain parts, if you drink like a lot, leaning, like you have this kind of like your head feels like it's unattached, like you're just like, okay. You kind of just feel like you're not there at the moment.
The brain is not fully developed until 25. That's why younger kids are more susceptible to getting hijacked by addiction.
Alcohol was like kind of the start for me. 7th grade, 8th grade.
Stockton is a hotbed of teen addiction and has one of the worst juvenile drug and alcohol arrest rates in California. Rosie Rangel is a substance abuse counselor with San Joaquin County.
I see it and it's just heartbreaking.
Substance abuse is a big problem in Stockton simply because of the fact that we are in the middle of the state. We have both major highways coming through our city, so drugs come into the country through the border, and they just travel right on up through our highway systems.
Hi, Josh. The first time I got arrested, I was drinking with some friends, and I got a robbery case. Oh. And then the second time I got arrested was for possession for sales. My dad was mad. My mom came about 2 days later to come visit me in jail, and all she did was cry.
Joshua was arrested at 18, spent time in jail, and is doing mandatory counseling with the county.
It's huge. We get clients every day that were arrested for drug sales, being under the influence, committing a crime.
At 20, Joshua has 2 strikes. Another could put him away for life.
My residents and medical students, if there's one thing that they come out of the jails or the prisons saying to me time and time again is, hey, they're just kids. They're really nice kids.
There's no need for you to get on drugs at all because there's really nothing good comes out of it.
Though arrest rates are skyrocketing in Stockton, kids remain so hungry for prescription drugs that dealers are staking out public parks.
When a person uses up their prescription from the doctor, they most likely will go to Pill Park. This is here in Stockton.
And this is it, Pill Park, an intimidating place full of movement and activity, people coming and going.
That park is famous for people meeting there to get pills.
Pills, trace your way to the sky.
Drugs and crime. Rudy made a decision. He wasn't going to let drugs ruin his life, so he quit. He even joined the group Students in Prevention.
We want to reach out to people we know our age. I'm 16, our age, even younger, 4th grade through 8th grade, and teach them about not just drug abuse, not just alcohol, but also mental health. People don't understand that mental health is a big thing. People need people there, a support system.
Christiane Highfill oversees Students in Prevention.
With programs like ours, the work that you guys do is really paramount to our fight in regard to keeping drugs away from young people.
Everyone has a past and everyone has a history, but that's the past for a reason. Drug abuse was just something big, and it's big now, and I know it can be prevented.
I've seen people selling weed and Oxycontins and Vicodins.
Pain pills are popular with 18-year-old Brianna's friends. But Brianna had a brush with death from taking too much over-the-counter cough syrup.
I decided that I was going to attempt to, suicide.
The last 5 years have been rough.
Brianna lives with her mom, Stacy. Overdosing on cough syrup sent Brianna to the hospital emergency room.
When she was 13, she attempted suicide. It was very out of the blue, very unexpected. I never really saw that coming at all.
Brianna was also experimenting with other drugs.
It's just a big escape.
At 16, Brianna became pregnant and is now the mother of a little girl named Ebony.
Actually, she wasn't really an accident. I intentionally wanted to have a baby because I wanted something to bring me out of how deep I had gotten into things.
Brianna is a good mom and getting counseling. She got clean when she found out she was pregnant and attends a high school for young parenting moms. Her advice to other teens?
I danced sometimes like 5 times a week, and I think that there are natural types of drugs like, what you get out of dancing or running or any extracurricular type of activity. I think if people do something like that, then that helps a lot.
People have energy in them, and we need to get that energy out.
15-year-old Julian burns off that energy by golfing.
When I was 10, my dad got me golf clubs for Christmas, and I just had a few lessons, and ever since then I just couldn't stop playing. I love it.
Julian says he wants to become a pro golfer. Still, he doesn't have to look far to see what other kids are doing.
Drugs, that's the big problem here. And, kids think it's cool and they don't really have anything else to do, so they choose the drug life. I just told myself I'm never gonna smoke or do drugs.
Julian is a good student, loves golf, and is winning trophies galore.
I see golf as getting me to where I want to be. And it gives me the outlet that most kids don't have. And I can go to a place, the golf course, where I feel comfortable and people respect me and what I want to become and what I want to be.
If we work at it, we can find something that really makes them tick, that they feel good about, that they look forward to getting out of school and going and doing this thing.
In the long run, by playing golf and staying off drugs, Julian is saving taxpayers money. The government spends $500 billion every year as a result of addiction. Health problems, unemployment, jails, institutions, death, it's all very costly. As for the emotional toll, that's impossible to calculate.
I just wished I had known more.
Linda Chapman pours through her daughter's baby clothes and other treasures. Tiffany Noel was Linda's Christmas baby. Tiffany had a healthy childhood until high school when she broke her neck in a bad car accident. She was prescribed pain pills and became addicted.
She was doctor shopping and pharmacy shopping actually too, so she was aware that she needed more prescription pain pills to feed her addiction.
Tiffany overdosed several times. Another late-night phone call, and again, Tiffany had taken too many drugs.
It was like maybe 44 days that she was in the hospital. They were telling us that she was going to go home.
Side effects from excessive use of prescription pills had devastated her young body.
We found out that she was bleeding internally. They tried to save her by giving her blood transfusions.
But it was too late. Tiffany's liver had essentially exploded. Her beautiful blue eyes turned blood red as her body shut down.
She held on for quite a while, and then she died. In the back of my mind, we always knew that this addiction could kill her, but we were really not prepared for the heartache that has left us in our lives right now. I hear moms and daughters together, and I miss that. I miss her.
Tiffany was 27 years old.
She had so many hopes and dreams for her life. Being an addict wasn't one of them.
Education, prevention, sharing that information is the best defense against the addiction and the abuse.
I know some people think that, okay, they can, go ahead and be addicted. It's just their life that they're playing with and no one else cares. That's not true.
Baby girl. I miss you. That's for sure.
I mean, Tiffany's gone now, and Dan and I have to live on without her, and it'll always leave a hole in our hearts. Things will never be quite the same.
For information about how you can help, contact Pathway to Prevention, a group of mothers committed to change.
To order a DVD copy of this program, call 888-814-3923 or visit kvie.org/viewfinder.
Collision Course Teen Addiction Epidemic is made possible by Sierra Health Foundation, supporting efforts that promote the healthy development of youth. Additional funding for this program made possible by Kaiser Permanente and UC Davis.